Yeah, I've given up golfing to come and do this.
Okay, so thanks for coming. It's our first official podcast. We're going to start hosting, get to answer and ask questions of you.
Yeah.
So,
No, thanks for having me. It's definitely different being on the other end of the microphone. So,
yeah, we were looking at, 2025 and all the things that make up Legends Boxing and looking at the stats of the podcast. And it was just something that grew every single episode. And we want to make sure that we're laser focused on all the new exciting things for the company and make sure that we're focused on the right things. And surprisingly, the podcast was one of those that just is people want to listen. So
cool.
We're going to keep delivering content as people want to keep hearing it. So that'd be a really cool episode to have you come on and take a little bit of different approach to where we're talking about coaching specifically. This year, we've changed our entire program to where our memberships are based on one type of membership. It's our core membership is what we're calling it. We're going back to the basics of when you and I started this company and built the foundations of what we felt was unique and interesting in the industry, teaching real boxing, a place where people feel like they belong and where we're striving for results. So having that core foundation, I thought it would be appropriate to start talking about what, from your perspective, what makes our workouts unique as a coach.
well, coming from, a boxing background, starting, later in my life, like a lot of people actually don't really know that. Like, I didn't grow up boxing. You were the one that was in the garages with the guys growing up and stuff. And that wasn't really my thing up until, I was in my late 20s and in my 30s. And so, having to look at the workout from a different perspective from someone who's, 29, 30 years old versus a 20-year-old, right? Like, I remember competing in nationals my last year of, competition boxing, and the guy I was boxing was like, 21 years old and I'm 33. And so there's this huge difference at that time and the way you have to go about it and the way you have to approach it. And so like when I started putting workouts together back in the go back in time with the XSI days is really kind of how it's evolved from then. Is I would just show up in the morning and write a workout on the whiteboard for the class, and it would change every day. And so there's record, like we don't even have these recorded. And then as it grew, I had to start recording them and really processing out the week, really thinking about how am I going to give people an effective boxing conditioning workout. That's number one. Like I remember saying to you a long time ago, like, well, I'm a boxing coach, not an aerobics instructor. And so the conditioning exercises that we put together are appropriate for boxing and how it's going to help somebody become a better boxer. And as we've grown and as we've expanded, there's had been put a lot more thought process into it. There has to be a lot more, like how do we modify? How do we cater to the person who doesn't necessarily have a good back or good knees or good shoulders, right? And so our workouts put all of those things in it, revolving around boxing the entire time. So the fundamentals of boxing is established in every single workout. The skill around boxing is established in every workout. But the rhyme and rhythm of what we're working on as far as the muscle group or the different type of, shoulder exercise or back exercise or knee or leg exercise that we're doing, it's thought through to be able to give a routine. My goal when I create a week's worth of workouts or when I was creating weeks on end of workouts was you didn't need to go to a different gym. You needed one gym membership. And it was going to attack every muscle in your body from head to toe. And by Saturday, it was going to give you the most kick-ass workout of the week. And it was designed that way because I didn't want anybody to know what they were doing. I just wanted them to be excited about what they were coming to. I wanted them to know that when they came in the next day, it wasn't going to be anything like it was the day before, and they're going to learn something new, and they possibly might have a brand new workout on the board they've never seen. And
So let's there's a lot that you said that I think
Right.
is important for the audience to understand is the workouts and coaching are the nucleus of everything Legends, right? Like what you're saying, where you don't need another gym membership, you don't have to come in for, quote unquote boxing cardio and then go lift weights to get the physique that you want, or go like the workouts that are designed are meant to go after the entire body, that you're shocking the system every day, that you could do it 5-6 days a week, you could do it 3 days a week, you're going to get the results that you're looking for based on the time that you put in, is essentially what you're going for.
If you're trying to be a bodybuilder, no.
Right.
But if you're trying to get in shape and do something different than maybe just hitting the elliptical,
Well, a bodybuilder would be a different sport, right?
Right.
Like, so for golfers, right, they should go to play golf, and they could do boxing as their form of exercise, but it is a complete workout.
Right.
And you've probably seen on our website, it launched the first week of January, maybe the second week of January, but right on the title screen, it says skill-based fitness, right? We've been talking about this term for years and trying to really make sense of it and describe what Legends is. And we've danced around it, and we've come up with all kinds of creative ways to explain it, and details in the workouts and modifications and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, I think what Legends is, what the workouts are, and what the coaches are doing is they're creating skill-based fitness. And expounding on that, I remember when I would go play basketball in the mornings and then I'd do boxing workouts or whatever, I was in a great shape because I was doing some physical activity. I didn't even think of basketball as my workout, right? And I'm playing for an hour, 2 hours and felt great. And then I took a break from it all and tried to go back and play for an hour, and I couldn't even play for 15 minutes because I was so out of shape. So it got me thinking that our workouts, they're fun, they're engaging, you're learning something, and so you almost forget that you're working out. Your body tells you that you're in shape or out of shape, or you can push yourself or slow back or whatever, but you're learning something which almost helps you forget that you're working out.
Right. And I think a lot of people struggle with working out because sometimes they don't, see the benefits right away, or they don't have a purpose at the end of it. And boxing actually gives you both of those in a very short period of time. You immediately start seeing benefits from it, like just within doing it within a week, within 2 weeks. Like I could go on and on of stories of members that I have over the years. But there's a purpose behind why you're coming and what you're doing. You're not just lifting a weight or walking on a treadmill or running. And for some people, that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. But for boxing, you're learning a skill. You are getting taught. You're actually having a coach that's holding a heavy bag for you, looking at you and breaking down that fundamental and individualizing the hour to them. And that's
Right.
something I've always really encouraged any coach I've ever trained, or the way I conduct my classes or my workouts is I'm trying to make 20 people in a class feel like they're by themselves. I'm giving them individualized, skill-based training during that entire hour. And then even putting a focus around that hour really helps any coach to really identify, well, this is what I'm looking for that person to help them directly, right? So just what you said, skill-based fitness, the workout revolves around that. It has a focus to it. And now a coach can really help you increase your skills.
Well, and I think that's what has made you a good coach. I think when we're evaluating coaches, is the workouts are written and administered by HQ and by people with lots of training and understanding of the sport, as well as just working out in general. But what makes a coach unique, because I'll step back and say, Legends was always meant to be based around the system, right? Mm-hmm. Most boxing gyms have some type of a system. And I know when we post this on YouTube, there'll be lots of comments on, the type of punches people throw, or that's not a 6 or that's not an 8. Like everyone's got an opinion as to what they think the right punch numbers are. But the reality of those that actually box or have been around boxing knows that each gym typically has their own system, and it comes from a lineage of some sort or previous coaches or a blend of a lot of things. And I think the system that you've created a long time ago was meant to be able to duplicate and to be able to coach and teach, but it came from a baseline, and then where the coaches add the enhancement is the personalized attention in a group setting. I think that's what you're saying is that you can coach the workout to 20 people, but each person in that workout is going to feel like they got that individualized attention from the coach.
Of course, absolutely. And it's funny how we're talking about this. Like last night, I was just kind of scrolling and I came across this video of Andre Ward, and anybody who knows boxing knows who Andre Ward is. And he was talking to a big group of people, and he was talking about both the fundamentals and how important the fundamentals of everything is, and all the slick and the flashy and all the cool stuff is the evolution to the fundamentals. Yeah. And that's kind of exactly what I'm talking about when I do that individualized, right? Like, I'm not trying to turn anybody in that class into the next me. I'm not trying to turn them into the next Floyd Mayweather. I'm trying to take their abilities and what they're coming to class with and improving on those from the fundamentals up. And that's why I really encourage consistency. I mean, boxing, it takes consistency. During my career, my competitive career, even though it was very short-lived, I was constantly asked all the time, Coach, like, what are you thinking about when you get into that ring? And the answer is nothing. I've done all the thinking in the gym. Yeah. I've done all of that preparation so that I can go into the ring with all of the solid foundations to be able to act upon those inside of that situation inside the ring.
Yeah, I think you'd said something that is important that our listeners understand is our gym is not like a fitness boxing gym, right? It's interesting because sometimes we get categorized by other boxers or gym that they look at legends. I think because we've grown and we've had a lot of gyms at one point, and I think they would think, oh, we're like the fitness boxing right. Trendy workouts, right? And then the traditional fight gyms, quote unquote, it's like we've carved out our own space in the world where we're right in the middle, right? Where you're gonna learn the skill of boxing at the level that you're capable and competent to, right? So you're not trying to turn them into Floyd Mayweather or a mini you, right? You're trying to get the best out of them using a fundamental or our system that teaches them the 8 punches and footwork and head movement and lets them advance at the level they want to. So looking at coaches and seeing how do we improve as coaches, how do our coaches continue to add value in the classes. I think what you mentioned of that individualized training, you're paying attention to their ability. And what's driven a lot of passion for me with Legends is because of what boxing has done for me in my life. And it's not the sports side, it's all the other things, stress, management. It's helped me with mental clarity, built a tribe of people. Like there's lots of benefits that come from boxing that have really nothing to do with boxing. And coaches have the ability and the gift to give that to people every single day. And, you can be the kind of coach where you walk in, you read the board, you go, okay, there's going to be 10 burpees and da-da-da-da, and that they just administer a workout and then the hour's up and they leave, right? And that's how good the class is going to go, and that's how insignificant you'll be. Or you really learn the workout, you study it, you become an expert at administering it, and then you care about each individual member and about their journey and their story. And during that hour, what can I do as a coach to impact that person's life? And it's not really meant to be like you're on a high horse or a pedestal. It's really a gift. And I think that the coaches that embrace that feel good all the time.
I couldn't have said it better. It's not a high horse at all. It's selflessness. I am care about them. I'm doing everything in there with the thought process of even if you came in here and you weren't having a great day, if you're leaving there and you got a smile on your face and you're happy, then I did my job. That's what it's for. I use boxing as the catalyst to help change people's lives, just like you said it did for you in the other ways, not the career, the getting in the ring. It's the other ways. Like I was a mechanic from the time I was 16 years old until I was 28 years old, and didn't find boxing until I moved out here. And you were the first person to introduce me to any kind of foundation of what actual boxing was like in your basement. And to me, it was a form of hanging out with my brother. And that's how it's always just gone. Damien, when I started working out with Damien, it started because I wanted to lose weight. I had never been as big as I had ever been at that point in my life, and I wanted to lose weight. And then it turned into something beyond what I ever thought I was ever going to do. I always thought I was going to be clocking in and out for somebody else my entire life. I always thought that I was going to be this blue-collar ASC certified mechanic. But no, I changed every single aspect about my life. I got rid of all of the negativity that was holding me back from seeing what truly I could do and what I could become. And that's where Legends started. That is why I started coaching, because of the impact it made on me. For every aspect boxing gave me, I go into every class that I coach trying to give that back to every single person in there. And so many people over the years has absorbed that, and it just feels amazing to hear that. And it feels amazing sometimes to hear it from other people. I meet with head coaches and my head coaches constantly, and to hear a story of where they came in just not having a good day and just sitting in their car for a second and kind of having to think about all this and really kind of, okay, I can do this. I can put my stuff away for the next few hours, right? Yeah. And they come in, and a member said, hey, you got a second? And pulls them aside and goes, hey, I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing. Like, since you've been here, it's been such an amazing time, and you've really changed and impacted everything, and you've really helped me grow as a person. And that immediately changed that head coach's day, like completely done. Now I'm in a great mood. Let's go kill this. And it's like, that's what Legends is about.
Yeah, there's a philosophy I would encourage everyone to look up and pay attention to. It's called a giver's gain, right? Where the idea behind it is that you're giving, not necessarily knowing what's going to happen. There's no transaction involved. You're just freely giving of your time, talents, and the universe somehow helps you create gain. And I love that philosophy because I think it makes it authentic. So when a coach can teach a class and impact people's life, and they're doing it more than just to be there for the job, right? Like, obviously coaches are paid to be there and they're asked to do tasks, but what makes a coach really dial it in and really understand what we're doing as a tribe and why our core values mean everything to us is that it's that giver's gain mentality, is that you give and that the universe will somehow create gain. And I've seen it so many times in so many stories, and sometimes you get lost on the back end side and corporate side and dealing with numbers and P&Ls and frustrated people and so on and so forth, that it's sometimes I get to go into the gyms and hear people's stories, and it reminds me of why I do this. When you need a reminder of why do I go through all of the effort of managing a company and the nuances of it, and then when you hear stories of how it's literally saved some people's lives. We saw we're taking applications for the executive fight night in May, and that's always a fun time of year because it brings in new types of people to Legends that probably wouldn't have ever gone to Legends, and it introduces our brand to so many people that would never know anything about Legends, and the applications just consistently grow year over year. And we've had as many as 3,000 people attend an amateur boxing show, right? It's crazy to think. And Evander Holyfield was there a couple years ago, with some just awesome stuff to think that our little brand has warranted things like that. But I was reading some of the applications and some of the stories of members that have applied, and how it's literally saved their life. And there was at least 10 applications of just these. What would they have done without legends? And I mean that in the most humble way possible, is that they were lost, and then they found this place, and all of a sudden life started getting easier for them. They had an outlet, they had a place to go, they had a tribe that had their back, they had a purpose, they had a reason to go and do something. And it's hard, it's not like you go in and boxing is this easy workout. It's a hard workout, so you feel accomplished, right? Yeah. And I think what's nice is that the people that are willing to go and try it and feel what the environment's like and how welcoming it is, it's a nice surprise, because I think most people would think that it's intimidating and scary, and the Rocky movies set the stage for what a boxing gym should be like, right? And then you also have the other ones where they're really trendy and really fitnessy and real, black lights and blinking lights. Like, it would drive me crazy, but like, if it works for you, great. But I think for when people come into the gym and they feel the authentic energy from a boxing gym and from a boxing coach, and then experience a class and see that they've literally taken away some type of skill, and now they have a foundation to build off of, which gives people purpose, and so on and so forth. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we really hit home the importance of coaches and our coaches to resonate with the members, and that they, if they really do and can, make a positive impact every hour that they're coaching, that somebody in that class might have needed them that day.
100%. As you're talking about this, like, again, like, I've been doing this for 15 years and I still do it every single day. I coach 18 to 20 classes every week between all three of my gyms, and I do it because I love to coach and be a part of that culture. I love to be a part of that tribe, is what we call it, and what it has grown into. And it's something I see still every single day. But as you were talking about it, just so many memories of so many things. And as you're saying about saving literal lives, like, you couldn't be more spot on. I remember a specific story that happened in our Riverton location a number of years ago, from a member who started here in Lehigh, and she's been with Legends for a very long time. And she just happened to be over at Riverton just doing a workout one day, and she was wrapping her hands, and she noticed this younger 15, 16-year-old kid sitting on the bench, kind of debating whether or not he was going to come to class or whether or not he was going to stay. And she kind of see that it looked like he was a little nervous and was going to leave. And so she decided to just go finish wrapping her hands and sitting next to this kid and just introduce herself and give him the 5 minutes of just talking about how awesome she loves Legends and what Legends has done for her. And she, the very next day, was back at Riverton for some reason and ran into that kid, and that kid had the confidence to come up and tell her and say, "You literally saved my life. I was going to leave, and I was contemplating going home and killing myself that day. Wow. And you saved my life. You saved me from doing that just because you came and talked to me and gave me the time of day." And I remember when we first started this podcast and I was interviewing Eric, and he couldn't have said it better. He said, "You are someone when you walk in the door at Legends. You're not anyone that has to prove themselves. You are immediately someone that we recognize as a person that we want to help you and teach you boxing and give you our education of what we have to provide." And so, yeah, we are both on the exact same wavelength of what it's like. That's what keeps me going every single day, is the ability to go in and coach and disconnect. Yeah. I get to disconnect from the day of stresses. And like you said, being a business owner is stressful. It's hard. There's a lot of things that come with it. But when I get to disconnect and I get to go actually put my coach's hat on and I get to engage with those people and really share what I truly believe, it's a power that if coaches that I'm talking to right now, any coach, I don't care what you're coaching, if you go into it with that mentality of you're trying to help somebody become better and change their life, that they will get better. They will do what you ask them to do. They will work their ass off to get to wherever result that they're trying to get for themselves, and things they didn't even know they needed or how they could get to these goals. and they will consistently keep accomplishing them for you if you go into it with that mentality.
Yeah, there's a philosophy where you're lending people confidence by believing in them, and then they rise to that level of belief. So as a coach, believing in the person that I'm coaching, and really instilling confidence in them that I believe you can do this. And even though they might be full of doubt, they borrow your confidence and you give that to them. And coaches, as you get more experience and you realize that power that you have, that influence that you have to help people achieve things they never thought they could, that heights they never thought they could go to. And I believe that if you are truly pure in your intention of helping that person, you find their strengths and their value and you give them that gift and that confidence, that belief in them, that will be amazed what they can rise to, the track that they set. Just recently, I got to coach again. It's been a long time since I've really coached, and coaching Shelby for the Fight Con and the first ever female main event that we've ever done. And I told her when we started down that path, I said, "Hey, I just want you to know this is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done, because I am not going to lose. I am going to win, and we're going to do this." And Jansen is an unbelievably good fighter, and she's going to be very well coached, and it's going to take us doing more than everybody else to go out and win. But if you do this with me, I promise you we will win. And she made the commitment and followed it to the T. And I had this girl running hills at 9:30 at night after sparring with 10-second interval sprints. I mean, and that's the dedication that she had, and the type of training that we were doing was as close to training a professional athlete as you can. And I wanted to instill that confidence in her that when the bell rung, that she had enough weapons in her arsenal to be able to get the job done. And because we all know, anybody that's experienced that the bell rings and you rely on your muscle memory and the things that you've trained and the weapons that get pulled out based on reactions. And that's what happened. And she shined and she did fantastic. And both girls looked like they belonged there. And it was really nice to see as a coach, to see somebody perform against somebody that was good, right? I think it's even more validating that her opponent was also good. And it was nice. It was a great fight, and it couldn't have been a better main event. But it reminded me of how rewarding it is as a coach to find that dedication from somebody, to give those of your time and of your talents, and then to see them perform is so rewarding. So coaches, just whatever you can take away from this is just really looking in the mirror and looking at as to why you're doing this, and how to go to that next level of building confidence in people and care, and look at your class every day. Because sometimes, you get burnt out after a while, and you need that reminder as to why you did this in the first place. Why did you want to be a coach? And then you dig into there and you go and you find that, and you get that energy again.
Yeah, and the opportunity's there. It is every single day to get reignited, to get re-sparked. Take a look around. Sometimes to coaches, make sure you're working out too. Make sure you're a part of the other coaches' classes.
Absolutely.
Make sure you're a part of the workouts themselves. Make sure you're engaging and trying to improve yourself as a boxer, right? Like, especially in our system at Legends with our member coaching program, right? Like, I teach my member coaches that's the first title of your name is member. You are a member first. You are always a member first. You come to class, I want you to be a part of it. I want you to look at it as you are a member. You're not the one running the gym. That's what the head coach is there for. Right. The head coach is there to lead and help and guide and support and mentor, and to continue your education, and to help you guys constantly feel like you're improving, not just in your own personal boxing, but in your personal coaching too. And so that's where you can find it. You can find it just the way you found it when you first walked in the gym. Everyone needs to improve. And if we keep ourselves in that humble mentality of where, if I can go every day and improve even just 1%, that's improvement. And it gives you that opportunity, and you can have that spark, and you can have that ignition back to where you can go yeah, you know, I'm going to walk in here and I'm going to make someone happy today. I'm going to change their life. I'm going to do something that's going to leave an impact on them, that's going to help them go have a better night or wake up with a smile on their face and go kill it at work the next day because they did so many things. Like, have you done a dragon walk before? Well, we make people do that in our workouts. And to see people's face after they do that, just with that accomplishment of going, my body was capable of doing something like that, that's a reward in itself for me as a coach to be able to look at that and go, yes, I was confident in you. I knew you could do this. And that's that part that's going to change their life and leave that impact on them.
Yeah, it's very, very authentic, very rewarding. So if you were to think of one thing, one very specific thing that a coach could take after listening to this, and one thing that they could implement in their class right away that doesn't take a lot of effort, that would improve the quality of their class, what would be that one thing that they could do?
Be there 15 minutes early and talk to every single person that walks in the gym.
I like that.
Ask them how their day was. Tell them, oh man, I like those shoes. Where did you get those shoes? Talk to them like you really care about them.
Right.
Like literally want to know what's going on in their life. Literally want to know what they're going to do the weekend. Like when you come with that authenticity and you really care, then that just starts the class off immediately.
Yeah, you got there early, you were prepared, you understand the workout, it gives time to get to know the members, engage with them. Like, I like that because that's something that you could do right now, coaches. You can be there 15, 10 minutes early, whatever it is, early, prepared, and engaged, not just running in right as the class starts and trying to get your mind right while you're doing that. That's a disservice to your members. So I think if everyone were to take that gem, which I think it's a great gem of being prepared and being early, the snowball effect that it has as a result of that will be it. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time. We're going to do these podcasts and continue to do them. So I'd love to hear your comments about episodes and things in the comment section on ideas that we could do. We want to keep making this interesting and not just to do it. We really want to see it continue to grow in value for our listeners. So I'd love for people to subscribe and like and follow all of those things. And so thanks for your time for coming out, and I'm sure you'll be on again soon.
Thanks for having me.